All right. Welcome, everyone, to the CPG Suite, where we're not your average corporate crew, obviously, with this crew. We're a lively mix of CPG enthusiasts from the CPG Co-Op. We also call ourselves the Co-Opers. Blending expertise, passion, and a pinch of humor to spice up your brand journey. Join us as we dish out hot takes, fresh insights, and a few laughs, or a lot of laughs, turning the often daunting CPG world into an adventure. Whether you're looking to level up or just love what you do a little more, the CPG Suite, C-Suite, is your VIP pass to top shelf of brand brilliance.
I love that.
We are about to talk brand brilliance.
I feel like you need a little
I know, just audio, like a little shiny thing that goes
Yes.
off. Like I made this little ding. So really we're talking about brand brilliance. And the first thing on CPG Hot Takes is we're talking about, I guess, things we're seeing out in the industry. And you have one that I was like, what in the world what are you talking about? I don't even know what you're talking about. Okay,
live shopping.
What do you mean by that?
Live shopping. So think like, this is kind of going back into, like QVC, like where
the digital
this
online.
nostalgia,
But where do you do
online.
it?
So Amazon.
I'm so old. Oh my gosh. No, wait, hold on. We all have to stop right now because I didn't introduce any of you guys. I was just so excited to talk about live shopping that I forgot. I'm sorry.
Forgive her.
First of all, so we've got Wayne, who is Strategic Insights, Business Planning and Marketing. We have Kathy, who is Brand Strategy. We have Chi, who is Go-to-Market Strategy. And we have Ryan, who is Amazon. So Ryan does Amazon. And I'm Emily Keeley, and I'm the founder and CEO of the CPG Co-Op. And we are on a mission to help make your brands better and your experience better because we love founders and we love what we do. And we've been doing it for 1 million years. And so we have a lot of wisdom to give, and we're going to do it right now. Now we can go back into the thing that I was really excited about. Live shopping. Go for it. Okay. Now, this is happening on Amazon. Please explain this to me because my brain's broken.
Yeah,
okay.
no worries.
Yeah.
Okay, so we all know QVC.
Yes.
So think of that, a little bit more modern now. We can see it on Amazon. So Amazon has live shopping really big on like Prime Day events where you'll see, usually a major influencer, usually a Real Housewife is on there, showcasing their favorite items. But you can pull up, if you have TikTok on your phone now, and it's just, TikTok is just flooded with live shopping.
It really is. I think she has some feelings about it. She just made a reason why I'm not on TikTok. My husband really appreciates the checkbook. You know what I mean? Like me not being on TikTok because I would be really into this.
It's addicting because, I can see my product being made. Like, let's say it's a CPG product.
Yeah.
There's a lot of snack brands that are making your order live.
What?
So you're seeing it, it's fresh and it's made right in front of you. They're calling out your name. It makes it interactive, engaging, and yeah.
So we were talking about Ryan being born in 1993 in an earlier episode. This is great because now I'm starting to feel like the ancient one, and this is really cool stuff. I feel like we should do a bigger video on this.
It's really cool. It started on Amazon years ago, but it was not Amazon. It was not that big as it is now.
Yeah.
TikTok is definitely taking, the cake here. Yes. With live shopping, but it's no longer. I grew up going to my friend's house and his grandma always had QVC on.
Yeah.
And it's no longer the older, crowd. It's young people, even younger than me, 93, shopping on TikTok.
Yeah, and what's interesting about Amazon in particular, if anybody has a Fire TV, Fire TV is constantly coming in either in the ads, and there's also a banner streaming of different people who are live. And I think what's so exciting about the online shopping is that it really is just at the beginning. If you wind up there and you start looking at it, it doesn't really appeal to me, the people who are on right now, the types of products they're talking about, but it's just a matter of time before they will have the right person for the right product for the right time. And so it's coming. And because of Gen Z's lean into online shopping and living in this, we talk about them living in this digital space, but it's so much more than that. Actually, my daughter, I have a 16-year-old daughter, and we were talking about someone in her school or someone that's in her social space, and she said, yeah, that person is not socially present. And I'm like, what does not socially present mean? And that to them, that means you have no social life if you are not on social media.
What is happening? Oh, wow.
So if you're not on social media, you're basically not part of the conversation, because even if we're all sitting here together, we're actually still sharing videos and memes and chatting on Instagram while we're together. And so this idea that they literally live in social media day to day means, how often am I going to go to Walmart or to Target or even to the mall when I've got TikTok selling me what I need, right?
Take all our money.
What a great way to tie in relevance, engagement, and transactions.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's all about selling product. And to be able to do that like that, that's pretty effective.
God, I am so old. I am not socially present. I will tell you. I will tell you that for sure. And I don't want my kid to be socially present all the time either, but that's another podcast.
Yes, we have three moms in here. And I will say Instagram also takes all my money. That's where I'll wake up and David's like, we have another package. I'm like, do we have another package? He's like, what did you order? I'm like, I don't know what I ordered. I ordered 6 things last night. Take all of our money. So I think, this we can kind of lead into, I know we're also going to talk about brand collaborations, because this moves right into our brain trust. So we're just going to go around the room and talk about fun brand collaborations that we've seen. My favorite is the Daily Crunch and Fly by Jean. That is like delicious and crunchy, and our kids love it. My kid can't eat too much because it gets her stomach upset, but it's really, really delicious. And you were talking about one that you saw on April Fool's Day. It wasn't really a collab, but it was a funny collab in a great way. And well done.
Yeah, it's a collab in a sense, not a real product that came from the collab.
Yeah.
But, excuse me. Olipop and Hidden Valley did, two brands you would never think would come together, did a amazing April Fool's joke where they even sent out cans of Hidden Valley Olipop to influencers.
I didn't know that part.
And it had like classic ranch flavor, garlic ranch.
Oh, that's
And
funny.
so it made a big, viral moment. And it just shows that like CPG brands are not afraid to incorporate humor into their partnerships for a viral moment.
But if you have some pizza and ranch, I mean, y'all, I don't know. I might have believed
I'm not
it.
with you on this one.
Pizza and ranch. This is a Texas thing. I've also found out. It's a weird Texas thing.
You do love it.
I love pizza and ranch.
I love pizza and ranch. You do pizza and ranch? Did you do pizza?
Are you also a Texan?
What do you mean you've
You're
never
Texan.
had pizza and ranch before?
I've never had it either. It sounds horrible.
Okay, so after this, we're going to go get pizza and ranch.
I'm definitely not having pizza and ranch.
You are so going to do it.
Give it a try.
And
I'll try.
and you'll be like, this is the best thing I've ever done in my whole life.
Did you dip it in the ranch dressing?
Yeah.
Or like pour. Or
you can pour it. I mean, you can drink ranch first and then shoot it. Or
that's
eat
one
pizza
way.
and then shoot it with ranch. Or, I mean,
whatever.
Just whatever you want to do.
There's no rules. I love this.
And then, Wayne, you had an interesting one that you said that you saw, and the box was so pretty on it.
Yeah, I had to go buy some white cake mix for a recipe that we're going to do for a birthday party, and I went to the cake mix section and I saw these beautiful packages of Bridgerton from Betty Crocker,
The Netflix show.
The Netflix show.
Yeah,
the license the name, and it was a very simple, beautiful blue sky background with a little floral design on the top, and it had gold embossed letters on the brand Bridgerton. And what they are is these dessert mix kits. So it's cream puffs and sponge cake and strawberry scones, and they've got everything in there except the eggs and the milk or whatever. But it's just an easy way to make these sophisticated desserts. Yeah. And I just looked at it and I said, "Wow, that's just beautiful." It's like beautiful packaging.
So smart.
And again, it gets back to the nostalgia, literally real nostalgia back in the 19th century.
Yeah.
But what it is it's really escapism and sort of the authenticity of the time, and just obviously it's more of a specialty event and occasion for consumers, but I thought it was pretty interesting and very engaging from a packaging standpoint.
Yeah, and talk about telling your brand story.
Yeah.
And speaking of, yes,
I think you had one.
I was just going to say, like, I find these collaborations I think about it as a founder and a business person.
Yeah.
Like the amount of planning, the amount of like strategy, execution, money, resources, all the things that they put into these collaborations. And they're amazing if they go off well.
Yeah.
Right. But then when you're like a smaller brand, you're like, it's going to cost this much. Should I put my money into this? So it's like all these sort of calculations you do, when you think about your sort of marketing play for your brand and where you are as a business. But I find it to be like kind of like a super feat and very much like admirable that they can like pull it off and pull it off well.
Yes.
Yeah, I would build on that to say this is where I was going to head is that for a lot of the brands that we speak with, it's probably not realistic to be able to pull something like this off. But I would lean towards the brand like Duolingo, who do a really great job of, it's almost a collaboration where you're jumping on somebody else's work. And Duolingo does a great job of that. Like something else is happening. How can I be part of that conversation in a way that feels authentic and connected, right? So if you are a cake mix brand, how can you create a series of recipes tied around not Bridgerton, but 19th century baking and make it cute and attractive and not having to lean in so heavily into the dollars or the time, but still being relevant in the moment of whatever is happening. And so that's what's so important about staying on the pulse of consumer and what's happening in culture and still be able to leverage some of that.
Yeah, and I will say I used to work with very large brands, so we used to do these collaborations all the time because I was marketing, right? And sometimes head of the account. And those collaborations are no joke. I mean, the legal and is it brand aligned? I mean, that was the big question we would ask. And sometimes they're not. Like there's Pringles with, I think it's Miller Lite or one of those. But I was like, I'm kind of digging this too. Like, it's a unique take on it, but you have to really think about that. But I will say for smaller brands, when we're here in Austin, Texas, and we would actually get brands that are local to do collabs together. And it wouldn't be maybe like make a product together, but the collaboration, because you would find, consumer aligned, like I really like this brand and that's our consumer and that's their consumer. Let's find a way to make it work together, either at retail or an event. And we loved doing those. And it didn't cost that much because we had to get really scrappy because we understand that founders have a very, very limited budget when it comes to this stuff. But the reach you can get with their audience and your audience is just unstoppable sometimes. So it's really exciting to watch when it takes off.
Yeah. And I know we're going to talk about brand identity, brand story, and all that stuff. But when you talk about brand alignment, like in the old school way of thinking, you're like, okay, I'm a beverage brand and I would pair well with a, sandwich or a salad or chips or whatever. But some of these collaborations are not brand aligned. And I think it's intentional.
It makes your brain
crack, because it's viral, it catches attention because there's that Liquid Death and Elf. And at first you told me that and I was like, what? But I'm talking about it.
That's right.
Well, and our daughters were like, "Oh my gosh, Mom, it's 90s goth makeup." And I was like, hold on, children, real fast on like 90s goth. Like, don't you even start
that.
But they're like, "Mom, have you heard of Liquid Death?" And I was like,
maybe.
Just a little bit. Thanks.
Tell me more.
Maybe.
There's a similar one. It just reminded me actually of another collab that I actually bought the product, Native deodorants and body products, and Jarritos. The Mexican soda drink.
What?
Oh, wow.
Wait, is
yeah.
it?
And so I have.
Wait, is it on your body? Is it Jarritos?
It's the scent. So the one that I got is watermelon Jarritos.
There we go.
Scented native deodorant. And at first, I look at this thing and I'm like, this is ridiculous. And then I opened it and I smelled it. I'm like, damn, they got me. They got me. And it smelled amazing. And then, of course, I went home, I put it on, and I'm like, hey, honey, smell this. He's like, this is weird. What is it? Smell like watermelon. I'm like, I know. Like, Jarritos. Oh my God. It was amazing. So, yes, I think you're making a great point, Chi, that what is brand alignment? What does that mean? And it's really about the impact that you're choosing to make as opposed to old school way, which is where like Pepsi One comes from. Pepsi One is about all of the Frito-Lay products and all of the Pepsi products. Obvious, yes, chips and soda, got it. But how do you think more creatively about creating an impact? And that's where the alignment comes in.
I would want like a Lay's deodorant.
Oh, okay. Now you've gone too far.
Kidding. You could,
You've
though.
gone
Like
too
a
far.
salty, delicious.
No, salty,
Sour
delicious.
cream and onions.
Cheddar and sour cream. People are coming up to you like,
Wow.
You smell like sour cream.
Okay.
Okay, so we're moving into the brain trust now before this, because this crew can get off the rails real fast. That's why I love it so much. So we are talking about building a strong brand identity and how important it is. And when we talk about alignments like this, and when you're building a brand, you're thinking about that, it starts right here at the basics. And we're going to focus on that because I think there's a lot of things to consider. And here at the CPG Co-op, this is where we start. It's always the basis of everything that we do. We start with this and we build out from there. So I'm going to turn to Kathy on get ready. Ready?
Yes.
3, 2, 1, go.
So to talk first, I think to begin this topic, I think it's important to sort of set the foundation on what is strategy, what is brand strategy, and brand positioning, which is really the area where I focus the most on. It is the foundation to brand strategy. And brand positioning, to the most simplest way, I know you've all heard me say it a million times, the simplest way to think of it is, who are you talking to? What are you telling them? And why should they care?
Yeah.
And the why should they care is really, why should I choose you over this other product in a way that is meaningful to me, not to you, the brand, but to me as a consumer. And that really is where the brand strategy and story begins. I think where startups in particular and founders who don't have a marketing or CPG background tend to falter a little is lacking in a point of view. So when we first had a lot of startup brands 5-10 years ago where the founder brand thing was so exciting and new, it was because there was a founder who found their own problem, they needed a solution, and they had a strong point of view. And that is how the brand got built out. But in the last 5 years or so, we've really expanded into people just looking for a new career, looking for a new opportunity to build wealth. And that has made that point of view get watered down. And then all you're really doing is trying to figure out, well, how do I beat out Poppy? How do I beat out Liquid Death? And that's not a path to success. There has to be a foundation on your own point of view about who do you serve, what do you offer them, and why should they care? And the why should they care is probably the most important piece of it, that requires that kind of that connection. And this is where consumer insights and really understanding your audience is so important as the beginning of any, strong brand strategy. I know you and I have talked a lot about insights and the role of insights, right?
Yeah. I mean, to me, I've always defined insight as a hidden relevant truth, and because just very simple, and that's been, you ask people what an insight is, you're going to get different answers, different definitions, but I like to simplify and just say that it's a hidden relevant truth. And there are ways to get those, and from consumer insight standpoint, you obviously want to understand who, but the why is critical. And then psychographically versus demographically, I mean, that it's really about their attitudes and their motivations and their hot buttons and their pain points and their values and all. That's what's the key. I mean, demographics are good for certain media buying and for certain targeting things, but it's all based on psychographics, really, to how you're going to nail that. And there are lots of ways to get these insights, and you don't have to go spend a fortune on a segmentation study or an attitude usage study or whatever. There's, there are a couple that off the top of my head is going to be, one is oneq.com.
Wayne loves OneQ, and I agree with you.
Which is an amazing tool.
Yeah.
It's a mobile research platform, and you can get whatever you want within 15 or 20 minutes. And it's literally so intuitive. And you just, I'll be at my desk and say, you know what, I like these 3 flavor names, but it's between this one and that. You know what? And then I just get on OneQ, and then 20 minutes, I ask a question, 150 people, and I target them based on, the profile I want. And within 15 to 20 minutes, you get the answers back, and you just feel, okay.
And you can dial it down to anyone, like it could be women who are 30 who
it
live
could
in
be women,
Texas
it could
who
be
do,
60, 40,
wherever it is,
female, it could be income, but then
as specific as you need, right? Like living in New York, who work in technology and have 3 kids and love to shop for shoes. Like,
and they're on
literally.
They give you so many different filters to address and click on and whatever. But then if you want to go further, obviously you ask a couple of screener questions up front to kind of whittle it down even more. But it's an amazing tool, and you could get a lot of insight and a lot of feedback from consumers, validation from consumers in, like I said, 15, 20 minutes for less than, $1,000. It could be $300, could be whatever. It depends on my questions, but it's just an amazing tool. So that's one. The other one is social media listening and social media analytics, all the tools out there for that. And then AI. I mean, let's face it. I mean, you have a question about anything, just ask, whether it's ChatGPT, Gemini, Grok, whatever. And I've been using different ones. I'll ask the same question, the 2 or 3 different platforms just to
That's a good
kind
idea.
of see how they come in, because there'll be a lot of overlap, but there's going to be some different nuggets from different ones to get. So there's so many ways to get these insights, and that's what everything's based on, right?
Yeah.
That's what's going to drive your strategy.
And so that drives your strategy. And then Kathy, anything else to add on to that? Like how you compound that?
Yeah. I think what the insights provide are a starting point for you to know the facts.
Right.
Strategy is nothing but an opportunity to make a choice. Strategy is I can go 4 different ways, but I've decided on this one and I'm going to stick to it. And having the data arms you with an approach that is anchored in what the consumer wants or needs. The truth is you don't need to have all of the answers.
Right.
Actually, nobody has all of the answers. Even I'm an ex-PepsiCo, you're ex-Coke. Like, how many hundreds of thousands of dollars did we spend in our own careers, let alone what they are spending?
Right.
I probably spend, I don't know, literally millions of dollars in research that they were doing, and they still didn't know the answers, and they still fail. So the thing that you're doing is not getting all of the answers. It's how do I get a little bit smarter for right now to make a choice so that I can move forward and set myself up for what comes next. I know the two of you are going to talk about how do we lean into that in the future, but you need that fact base to help you make good decisions.
And I think, go ahead.
I was going to say, another thing is to understand how the consumer uses your product, right? In a certain category, and what are the need states and all that, because the classic example I love to use is baking soda, right? I mean, you can use baking soda for cooking and cleaning and brushing your teeth and
deodorizing
and whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like what are the different usage occasions, and that leads into collab, right?
Yeah.
For different meal solutions and promotional opportunities, things like that, and new product ideas as well. But how do they use the product? And again, I love the baking soda example, because it's like, how do you use it? You dump it down the drain, right? That's just buy more and keep dumping it down the drain, clean the drain. Right? How perfect is that?
I think we need a whole episode just on insights. That would be great. Yeah.
I was going to say, I think insights too, you can also glean a lot from Amazon. And I think that there's also a way to think about your brand on Amazon, because you do have to think about it a little bit differently. And then I moved to Chi because I want to get to her fabulous brand and how she built a brand identity. So anything on Amazon and like thinking about it that way.
Yeah. So, I mean, Amazon, I would say, is a little bit more limited than what you can do with like D2C. D2C, you can have a pop-up. That's your brand story, who your identity is right there in the customer's face.
Right.
On Amazon, I think you got to do a little bit more work
here.
So you really have to focus on your photography, making sure that your images, when a customer lands on your product display page, they immediately have a sense of who you are as a brand. I always tell our clients that you have to emotionalize the brand. The customer needs to connect to you on an emotional level.
Like fast too,
yes,
huh? Yeah.
Fast. You have like milliseconds from when they land on your page to immediately they have some sort of emotion towards your product.
Yeah.
You can do that through images, like I mentioned, bullet points. But, a lot of us, we're not really reading the bullet points too much, but you need to have something there. We're mostly focused on the images. A+ content, which is, that below the fold, those images that you see on the product display page, a little bit more customizable. That's going to be a great opportunity for you as a brand to really showcase who you are. And your brand store. So think of that as like your mini website on Amazon.
Yeah.
When someone lands on your brand store, they should, if they find your website, they should have like, oh, I'm in the right place. It's the same look, feel, although you're a little bit limited with what you can do on Amazon.
Yeah, I love that. I think it's I lost my train of thought, guys. Go ahead. So there you go. Go right.
I think back to insights, what a great place to learn through reviews, right? You could just spend all your time on Amazon reading reviews, your products, competitor products, adjacent products, products that are used with your products, products that you find that you admire, or they've got the right packaging, or they've done the message. Read those reviews.
Oh, yeah.
And you can see a lot, right? You can see a lot of what people are buying on the back end. And like he's like Neo from the Matrix and like all the ones and zeros and sees all that stuff,
see
right?
Search volume. Like, what are people searching to find a product like this? You may think, oh, I have a barbecue sauce, but people are searching it for, like a pizza dipping sauce, like ranch.
There it goes. Told you.
But really knowing how are my customers, your customers using your product. Reviews is the number one place to look at that.
Really?
Yeah.
That's like something I do with all of our clients when we have our big monthly meeting. I pull up their reviews for the month. I'm like, all right, let's get into it. We're going to look at the good, the bad, and the ugly, and we're going to figure out who is your customer. Are they even using your product correctly? If they're not, we need to do something with the product display page to let them know, like, hey, this is how the product's supposed to be.
That goes back into brand strategy and the messaging that you do, which is like stuff that I used to love to do. Is that messaging is like you have to keep constantly tweaking the messaging. You have to constantly like the bullet points that you're going to use are the messaging, which comes from you too, which starts over here and then move. I mean, it's just all so interconnected. But doing those learnings, and I love that idea of like listening to the customers. Like, dude, guys, they're like using it wrong.
Yeah.
Why are they putting on their skin like that? That's not what. That's not what. Instructions need to change.
Yeah,
right.
How they're using it, but also are they repeating back the messages you intended for them to hear?
Yeah.
Are they, if your brand is all about a curated experience, ingredients sourced from the world, when you read the reviews, are they saying, oh, this tastes like something I had in Louisiana 2 weeks ago? Like, okay, that's a problem, right?
Yeah.
What are they repeating back to you? And does it match what you intended to put out into the world?
Yeah.
Not just in the functional, but in the emotional, in the brand story that you're crafting, right?
Yeah.
It's free research and so much of it.
Yeah.
So much research.
So much of it. Yeah.
And I would say, I think because we're in this world and because this is your background, and I also did positioning in my, life before this, I think for any CPG founder, starting this piece of it is very daunting because you don't actually know where to start.
Yeah.
You actually don't know what information you're looking for. And this is where the insights piece is so critical because you're like, well, what insights am I looking for? And how does that inform? What does that inform? You know what I mean? Every part of the sort of that brand strategy. So for founders, I think it can be overwhelming.
Yeah.
And so you do a good job of just breaking it down like, okay, very simple terms. Who are you talking to? Why do they care?
Exactly.
I was going to say, I'd love you to hear your story. We have a little bit more time left, but hear your story because you've built a brand. I'd love you to tell us what that brand is because it's delicious, and then how you actually did that. And I'll get back to you in a minute. Yeah.
So the brand is Purpose Tea.
Yeah.
And for me, it's a mission-driven brand. It features a new innovation. It's a brew tea that's made from a purple tea leaf. So there's this very healthy component around what the product is, but there's also this mission behind the brand. And so when I started it, it was really important for me to think about, what do I want to be when I grow up?
Yeah.
Like literally in the most simple terms, like who am I? Who do I want to be? What is that North Star? So I really started off with the vision for the company and then figured out the connecting steps to kind of get there. And so for me, it was like to build a healthier world. That's like two-sided, right? It's like I have this mission around helping female tea workers in the supply chain.
Which is fantastic.
But I also have this product that is amazingly healthy and has great antioxidant benefits, more than other teas that are on the market.
Right.
And how do I combine that and how do I create a brand around what we're trying to achieve in the world? And so I started there, and my why has always been constant in every decision that I make around the brand. Does this seem like it would make sense for a mission-aligned brand to partner, with a certain brand? Is it brand? right.
Elle Cosmetics, you could do a purple girl.
Or whatever. So I always started with my why and what I wanted to be when I grew up.
Yeah.
And kind of just went from there.
Yeah.
And that's such a great example and articulation of what we were talking about a little bit ago about having a point of view. And I want to dispel any myth that purpose, no pun intended, is exclusive to someone like yourself who has a social mission. You don't have to be helping someone in another country or, giving shoes away or clean water. Your purpose can be as simple as, I just want people to be able to enjoy soda again.
Yeah.
AKA Poppy. That's it. I just want people to be able to enjoy a beverage. They don't have to feel guilty. That is a purpose worth pursuing.
Yeah.
but it is anchored in a point of view.
Right.
This is what I am trying to do in the world with this product. This is how it contributes to the world. What may seem on paper, especially if you're a founder or a startup, may seem that it falls flat, or I'm sure when they first started, probably had bigger, loftier ways of talking about it. But there's nothing wrong with saying, I just want people to have great soda. Yeah. That doesn't taste bad. That doesn't make them feel bad.
Yeah.
That is a worthwhile point of view. And that is what I would want for founders.
It's powerful too, because I think the hard part for founders is that sometimes things get really complicated, but it is hard to make something complicated simple.
Yeah.
And that's your job as a
brand owner.
And then it goes back to insights.
Right.
Yeah. Wait, what you had a point to give to, and then we got
I was just going to say that positioning is obviously so important,
right?
And I know my experience. It's like when you're trying to do positioning for your own brand, it's like trying to. When I worked at Coke, our CMO had us all do our brand positionings for ourselves.
Oh dear!
And so it's like,
it's hard.
I want you to do a brand positioning for yourself, and that is one of the most difficult things to do. It's like, wait a minute, you're looking at things a little differently. You're kind of biasing yourself to things. You're maybe underestimating things. And so when I was doing my own brand positioning work, it was like, okay, I feel good about it. Did some consumer validation work. Okay, got it. So then we went out with it, but it was like, did I overthink things? Did I not feed the research the right way or whatever? And we ultimately brought Kathy in to help us from a totally different outside perspective. She helped refine the positioning, and then looking at it from just a totally unbiased. She had nothing to gain, nothing to lose. Just, hey, here it is. I'm just telling you how it is. And so it was very, very helpful. So
because you had a mission aligned brand too, and sometimes when there's a mission aligned, and you're also trying to get products across, and it's like so someone said earlier, it's like throwing 10 balls in the air. Yeah, it gets challenging.
But I'm glad that you said that, because I am a brand positioning expert. I've literally been doing this 20 plus years.
Yeah.
People are paying me lots of money to help them do it. I can't do it for myself. I literally can't do it for myself. I've actually worked with a sales coach to help me articulate my own positioning.
Right.
So it is really important to let everyone off the hook. Like, you're off the hook. You don't need to be perfect at this at all.
You can iterate, and you can improvise, adapt, never come back to that every podcast episode. You really can't. Just remember that you can change things, and it's going to be okay. So, but you got to start somewhere.
Call us. And we are here to help you. That's what our job is, right?
Do it. Yeah. So just real fast, we're going to go around the room. What's one thing a founder can do to help with their brand identity? And it could be one cue. You could say one cue over and over again, because it might be.
I will say one cue over and over again. It's just, if you have any questions, if you say, hey, I like this packaging, but are there better ways to improve on it or whatever, then put your package design on one cue and ask some questions.
Yeah.
And in 20 minutes, get some feedback and some insights to act on.
Yeah. I would tell them to go to AI immediately and build some prompts to have AI evaluate your business. Take a look at my packaging.
Yeah.
Take a look at my positioning. Here is my website. Here's my Amazon listing. Look at all of this. Evaluate it as, act like a brand positioning expert, act like a business planning expert, whatever.
Yeah.
And you tell me what is missing, what's wrong, what could I do, how do I make this better? Just to have, it's almost like having 10,000 new eyes on your business,
right? To
give you something fresh. So that's where I would start today. I would do it immediately.
Immediately.
To think about
today.
It.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I would say really think about everything that you do in approaching your brand behind the eyes of the customer. Like, think of what's in it for the customer. Why do they care? What's the value that you're bringing? And sometimes we put ourselves kind of, what would I do, or what would I like? And it goes to your point, Wayne. It's like, you can't really think about it that way.
Yeah.
You have to think about it from your target and why would they care? So always keeping that customer sort of forefront in mind, I think, would be a big takeaway.
Yeah, mine kind of goes off of cheese. Like, be open to feedback, listening to your customer, reading your Amazon reviews, and knowing if the customer is saying something about your product and it's more than just one, then, we need to be open of like, hey, do I need to change this with the product?
Yeah.
Do I need to shift gears and just be, like I mentioned last episode, adapting. Constantly adapting, especially in
and
the
resilient.
CPG space.
It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
When I was on a brand team years ago, we used to have this mantra. Was basically, it's the consumer stupid. I mean,
That's right.
It's just like in politics, it's the economy stupid.
Yeah. That's
That's what it is.
It's a consumer.
Yeah.
You could sit there and say, one executive can talk to another executive saying, what do you think of this or whatever? And I remember somebody went up to Sergio Zeman, who used to be the CMO of Coca-Cola. He said, Sergio, I saw this ad last night for Powerade. I didn't get it or whatever. And Sergio would say, that's okay. You're not the target.
That's
Exactly.
And so I don't care if you got it. It's
Exactly.
Like,
This is my husband and I say that too, and he's like, he's going to like that ad. I'm like, that's because it wasn't for you.
Correct.
That's right.
You were a 55-year-old Canadian man, and I love you, but not doing this today.
Liquid Death and Elf is not for
Not
you,
for
David.
You're not putting on
Not
goth
for
black
you,
lipstick, David. If you are, we need to
No,
talk.
David.
Okay. Wayne, Kathy, Chi, Ryan, thank you guys so much. This has been so much fun. And once again, we are the CPG Suite, and we are making CPG a little less chaotic, one episode at a time. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Woo!